All right, so we talked about a mortgage that pays. I thought one of the things that happens with mortgages is we always think about them as debt instruments. We never think about them as something that could benefit us. Years ago, when I first got into the business, we used to talk a lot about mortgages that could help you out and that could help put some cash back into your pocket. And one of the things that very few people take advantage of, now if you open up your package, you'll see here a sheet that looks just like this. Grab that sheet out, and on the back we have some figures that we'll kind of follow along with in a minute. All right? So we all hear all the time that it's good to have, you know, the rich people, what do they always do? They always have interest that they pay, but it's always tax deductible. That's how they seem to keep getting ahead, where the rest of us all just keep paying interest. So one of the simple things that most people don't realize they can do is utilize RSPs, but have their mortgage help do it. So if you look at this figure in the back over here, so we had an example here. We took a fellow named Frank, and he had a mortgage balance of about $300,000 at a rate of 2.99. So to be conservative, I even used a higher rate, okay? Because we could obviously make it look even better with a lower rate, but let's use a higher rate. 25-year amortization, payments are $1,418 a month. And let's say that Frank has a lot of cumulative room in his RSP. He's never put any money into his RSP. Now he's got about $35,000 worth of room. And let's assume his marginal tax rate is 30%. What that simply means is that for every dollar he contributes to his RSP, he'll get 30 cents of it back. Okay? So if we had this gentleman take out, for example, in this situation, if he was to refinance his mortgage and add that $35,000 to it, now he'd have a mortgage of $335,000 using a fixed rate of 2.69. His payments would be $1,532. So his payments would effectively now go up by $114. But if he took that $35,000, put it into his RSP, the government would send him a check for $10,500 within a couple of months. So that's all it took. Now that $10,500 he can put back against his mortgage. And he still has his $35,000 in his investments. So, and it effectively, the payment change was $114. So even I ran the math further and said, okay, if you looked at it and broke the interest for that, even when all was said and done, he would still be $11,000 ahead. Now, I'm sure most of you know somebody who's got a fair amount of RSP room. Yeah? You have a lot of RSP room? Yeah. So and unless you're working for the government and you're going to get a big pension, if you're self-employed, you're a realtor, a plumber, whatever, there is no pension. So in those situations, it's well worth looking at something and restructuring your financing to take advantage of something like that. And if you can keep doing that on a continuous basis, that cash that you put back against your mortgage is going to effectively reduce your interest cost, but your investment's growing. So you've basically got free money from the government, which rarely ever happens. In the old days, we used to do this a fair amount, but people kind of fell out of favor because they say, oh, I don't make as much on the return on my investment because the bank's only paying me 0.5% for a TFSA. Why would I put it in? When you're getting, for example, in this case, a 30% return instantly, you did better than 0.5%. So it's just something to bear in mind that it's a great opportunity that a lot of people kind of never take advantage of. So take the sheet, share it with some friends, somebody else that may not have thought of that sort of a thing. So another thing we're going to talk about